When My Arcade showed up to CES 2023 all the way back in January, they were taking a victory lap showing off their new collaboration with Atari. But something that I was equally intrigued by and kind of took a back seat to that Atari news was all of the new re-released products they were showing that we had seen out before from Namco. My Arcade did it. Basic Fun did it, Super Impulse did it, everybody else had done it, and mostly they were all NES on a chip. But this new line, including this Ms.PAC-MAN that we're going to look at here today, has a lot of interesting stuff going on, and there's number one question I want to know is what software is it running? We're going to find that out and much more right after this. This video supported in part by...
Playing VR, I tend to sweat. It gives me an edge. So King of Nerds happens to give me an edge too. Let King of Nerds give you the edge. Bye, King of Nerds.
Hey there, welcome back to GenXGrownUp. I am John and I am a GenXGrownUp. I want to thank you for clicking on this video to take a look at this new Microplayer Pro Ms.PAC-MAN from My Arcade. Now, if you've seen My Arcade releasing Ms.PAC-MAN before and you're wondering what's this all about, you're not wrong. Years ago, they put out a Ms.PAC-MAN. I reviewed it along with the other manufacturers that did Ms.PAC-MAN, and it was just the NES version of Ms.PAC-MAN, which in and of itself is fine, but this isn't called My Nintendo, this is called My Arcade. And what we want to see is the genuine arcade ROM running on these little gadgets. You know that, I know that. We know we have a new joystick, we know we have the vertical screen, that bodes well. What, though, is this running, and is it going to be something that we're going to want to pick up? Well, let's head to the table and find out right now. No more waiting. It is finally time to get into this Ms.PAC-MAN Microplayer Pro. Of course, really quickly, I want to take a look at some of the things on the box because we can often get some clues about what's going on inside the box by what it says and doesn't say here on the outside of the box. And most everything I want to show you is here on the back of the box and inside this flap. Here on the bottom has the game history. I always appreciate when they put just a little bit of information about the game so we know where it stands in the pantheon of other arcade games and why it's important, why it warrants having its own little micro player. Then let's pop open this little magnetic flap and see what's going on inside. Now we've seen all these photos, right? Just a picture of the batteries and how you can charge it, and you can try to fit it in a backpack. The most interesting though is right down here in this corner where we get a preview of the controls and buttons, and you can see it shows a home, player 1, player 2, and a coin, a credit button. That bodes well. Last time we saw a credit button on a My Arcade unit was on Space Invaders, if I recall. Down here it says home restarts the game, 1, 2, number of players, and credit, add number of continues? Ms.PAC-MAN shouldn't continue. Maybe they just mean credits. Unless they use the Ms.PAC-MAN from the class reunion, then there should be no continues on Ms.PAC-MAN, so we'll see. But this bodes well for what's in here. You're not going to have credits and player 1, player 2 start on an NES port anymore, are you? No. I don't know about you, but that is enough to whet my appetite. Time to get this joker open and see just what we have in store. Once inside, we have our Ms.PAC-MAN micro player and a little bit of documentation. First, we have this flyer, and this is the old flyer. It has the old pocket players and stuff on there, so that's garbage. And then we have instructions, and these instructions, again, how to put in batteries, what buttons are there in 80 languages. That's garbage too. However, in other new releases, we have gotten this brand new flyer that has a checklist of all of the new pockets and nanos and micros, and I'm going to check off my Ms.PAC-MAN micro. And then we'll get right into taking a look at this hardware. Of course, artwork on the side from the original Ms.PAC-MAN cabinet. We have a small marquee up here. Does not illuminate, you should know. Just below that is the 2.75-inch screen, and the thing that I've been most excited about, it's vertical. It's a 3:4 aspect ratio, the aspect ratio of the original arcade game. Okay, let's talk about this control deck. We have this new bat-top joystick that has like a stainless steel or aluminum shaft in here, so it's nice and resilient. Feels really good. We have a home button, a player 1 start, and a player 2 start. You know what else I see or don't see? Extraneous buttons. Remember the day when every micro player was the same thing in the same mold and it had buttons you didn't need? This needs no buttons because it's Ms.PAC-MAN, so this is custom made for Ms.PAC-MAN. Thank you. Now, just below that control deck, we have the knee board. Now, this coin door is just a decal now. It's no longer the power switch, but just next to it, here's that insert credit button. It's got a little sticker on it, looks like an American quarter, which is what Ms. Pac-Man cost to play, or I guess used to cost to play before. It's like $1.50 to play it Dave & Buster's, or anyway, a credit, which means like an arcade game, you know, a credit, not an NES version. Oh, I'm liking where this is going. Down here on the bottom, we have these two rubberized no-slip feet so that it's not going to slide around on the table. Around back beneath the battery door, we have a headphone jack. We have a 5-volt USB-C in if you'd like to power it via USB-C instead of batteries. And then we have that variable brightness toggle button that you can use to change the brightness of the screen. And then up above this battery door, we have a single rear firing speaker. We have a volume up and down button and the power on-off switch. That's all I needed to see. Let's get this fake Ms. Pac-Man sticker off the screen, put some batteries in the back, fire it up, and give it a test play. As you're watching this video, if you decide that this Ms. Pac-Man micro player is for you, I want to call your attention to all the links that I put down in the description of this video, where you can click for this or the Pocket Player, or frankly any of the new stuff that came out from My Arcade here in 2023. A lot of them are sold out though, and I'm hearing that they will restock. But if you're dying to get that arcade fix, let me tell you about our merch store. If you head over to GenXGrownUp.com/merch, you can get t-shirts that have our logo on it if that's what you want. But our merch store has way more than that. You can search for anything that's arcade related or Pac-Man related or Atari related or whatever, and every purchase you make goes to support independent content creation, just like this video you're watching. All right, let's get back and fire this thing up and see what it's running. Entering the arcade, there's my micro player, My Arcade logo, all right. Oh, that looks like a ROM booting. It was fast, it looks like a ROM booting. Okay, well, it says 0 credits. I'm in an attract screen. Okay, so let's take a look at screen brightness while we're here. All right, so we know it's modified. Look, it's Ms. Pac-Man BNEI, so it's Bandai Namco. So it's a modern version of the ROM, but for the life of me, this looks like a genuine arcade ROM. Okay, let's take a look at the screen brightness. So that little button on the back, this probably is medium. We can go up to high, down to low, and then medium. I'm going to leave it on medium. That looks pretty good. So let's try putting a coin in. Oh, there's a pack sound. It sounded a little bit different to me in timbre, maybe. Let's see. Let's fire it up and try. All right. Oh my, what am I seeing? This looks and feels, for all the world, like a genuine Ms. Pac-Man ROM. The sounds are just... Oh, that sounds perfect. Okay, let me say, a few of the sounds sound off to me. The siren, the music a little bit. Oh, that ghost chomp is just perfect. Okay, so we're finding it looks like this is an arcade ROM, or some version of the arcade ROM. And it's behaving like the arcade game would. Look, us old arcade guys have simple tastes. We just want to experience these games, the sights, the sounds, the emotions, the flow, the rhythm of the game that we remember when we would spend our allowance on playing games instead of wiser investments. And this is as close as I have seen on Ms. Pac-Man from any manufacturer, short of manufacturers that have an unmodified ROM, like an Arcade 1-Up or a Numbskull, but at 3 times the price, too. So, there's that. I've not seen Ms. Pac-Man look better on a budget consumer device than it does here. Let's finish off this board and check out the intermission. And then, of course, we should get to the second map. Oh, a little different. Like the bass is too high. There's a mix a little bit. You know what it sounds like? It sounds like this game is running on slightly different hardware. Like it's been modified and migrated over. Every behavior is here from the original game. But it's been changed to run on new hardware that has a different chipset. Which would make sense to keep it economical, right? So it doesn't cost $150. Oh! Ouch, Blinky. There are long stretches of playing this game when I can't tell it's not an unmodified ROM, and then you'll hear a little sound, a little pitch or something that says it's slightly off, but it is so ridiculously close. Come here, Pretzel. The behavior is here, the speed when you turn corners, all that's there. Oh, and I got caught. Wow. I mean, look, I just played Ms.PAC-MAN, without a doubt. Oh, what about high score? 28,160. I didn't put my name in. That wouldn't be a feature of Ms.PAC-MAN. That's accurate. I'm just going to hit the home button down here to reset. 28,160. Let's see if the high score is preserved. Come on, come on. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. No high score preservation. Wow, that would have been great. Now, what I think is important here, since the only little deviation from the original game is that audio, it's just a little off in some places. To be fair, you're listening to it through my camera's microphone. So I'm going to plug a wire directly into the headphone jack of this unit and plug it into my computer and capture the audio and play a little bit so you can hear exactly what I'm hearing as crystal clear as it can be. Let's start with that insert coin sound. Just a little. And let's start. Now, I'm not going to talk too much over this. I just want you to listen to the sounds, and you be the judge for yourself, how close it is, if it's close enough for you. And here's that intermission, so you can hear the music. Yeah, all right. This Ms.PAC-MAN is the start of a new age of these things. Budget with a slightly modified arcade ROM that is so close. At that impulse price? All right, I think we've seen what we need to see. This is most certainly not a rehash of the Ms.PAC-MAN release we got some years ago. There's a lot here that I like. I didn't say much about the joystick, and that's frankly because it just works. I didn't have any comments, really. The joystick does what the joystick's supposed to do. I had no trouble controlling the game, and I feel that every time I died, it was my fault, not the controller's fault. And if you have watched any of my other reviews of little arcade toys like this over the years, you know that I harp on two things. I want the genuine ROM, and I want the genuine arcade experience. I want playing this game to feel like I remember feeling when I played Ms.PAC-MAN just a few months ago, actually, at a convention. And when I was a kid, more importantly. That's the part that I'm trying to recapture. And this, in large part, does that. There's room for improvement. Yes, I would have liked to have leapt to the absolute perfect arcade ROM with not a single thing changed. However, this gives me the arcade experience. This gives me a version of the arcade ROM. And as I said, there were several times I forgot it was changed. I was just playing Ms.PAC-MAN, as you would want a game like this to feel. So, as I ultimately try to distill this down to a rating, I kind of did the rating in reverse, and I thought to myself, what things would I change about this to make it perfect, a perfect product for today? So, if it was the genuine ROM with zero changes, with zero adaptations, no little audio anomalies, that would have been worth a half token. If you saved high scores, that would have been worth a half token. Beyond that, I mean, this is pretty much Ms.PAC-MAN in a little tabletop gadget. So I'm gonna give this Microplayer Pro 4 tokens out of 5. If you have the old ones and you weren't happy with them, or even if you were, this is an obvious upgrade. If you don't have any of them, what a great way to play Ms.PAC-MAN on a budget. You can spend more and get more perfect, but it's gonna be a lot more, triple to 4 times as much. And this Ms.PAC-MAN unit, for me, brought back the feel that I had playing Ms.PAC-MAN in the arcade, and I'm willing to bet it might do the same for you. I should let you know, of course, that this unit was provided to me by My Arcade. They had zero editorial input into what I would have to say about it. I just happen to really like it. Look, I will throw some links over my shoulders here and here to some more coverage I have done of this new line of My Arcade gadgets. I certainly hope you found something to enjoy in this video though, and I cannot wait to talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.